Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Welcome. My name is Mary Ann Rivers, and I am a member of the Sunday Services Committee. I am so glad to welcome all of you who are in the sanctuary, and those of you who are sitting at home with your favorite beverage, watching us this morning. We welcome you also. This is February 11th, Scout Sunday, and it is in our building, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. Reverend Alex Jensen, Eagle Scout. Right. You can see I only made it so far. And I was a Girl Scout leader, and I did teach my girls the most important part of scouting, which was the one-match fire. There aren't that many of us who can do that, one-match fire. Even the young Cub Scouts, such as myself, make a promise, a covenant, to obey the laws and to work within the pack and to help others always. And Eagle Scouts made promises and covenants also, making their influence and training count for better scouting and better citizenship. Reverend Alex will help us to make the connections today. If we have visitors today, we hope you'll join us in the fellowship hall after the service. If you're comfortable standing and introducing yourself, feel free to do so. Please, here's a microphone.
My name is Richard from Sault Ste. Marie, and we've been attending for a couple of months by YouTube. So we're happy to be here in person. Yes, we did.
Yeah. And I'm Leslie Piastro Asquith.
Welcome to you both. I hope you will join us afterwards in the fellowship hall.
Hello, my name
Hello.
is Shannon. I'm from Elk Rapids, and I'm here with my daughter Emily, who's one of your congregants. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Welcome. Is that it? Welcome to you all. We look forward to meeting you afterwards in the fellowship hall, and it would help us if you would grab one of the yellow mugs, and then we can identify that that's who we should be looking for. We would like to now take a moment or two to center ourselves, and this morning we're going to be doing that with music from Barbara Young. She's going to play The Happy Wanderer.
wherever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here this morning. I think that was a nice way to start our Scout Sunday. I'm Reverend Alex, the senior minister and your resident Eagle Scout of this congregation. I use he and him pronouns, and welcome to this Scout Sunday, the first of what I hope might be a tradition each year here, where we celebrate the ways that the teachings of Scouting and Unitarian Universalism really do intersect. I want to say a special note of welcome to any Scouts, leaders, and even any former Scouts who might be with us in our service today. Was anybody brave enough to come in uniform? Oh. If you are a current Scout or have ever been a Scout in your life at any point, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, or even Scout-adjacent programs, would you also rise so that we can honor you? Wow. Incredible, incredible. Whew, this is going to be an audience that knows what I'm talking about. All right. What we say in Scouting is once a Scout, always a Scout. We're grateful that you are with us here today. And as we settle into our Scouting service, I want to first draw your attention to this special merit badge sash that I have on up here today. Though I have to admit, this isn't a Scouts BSA merit badge sash. It's actually a sash that the ministerial search team made for me, and they gave to me when they called me as your minister. And so Jeff already put this up on the screen for you to see. This is a special one-of-a-kind sash in the ways that I'm not sure any other Unitarian Universalist minister was given a merit badge sash by their congregation. And this one is unique and complete with badges like preaching in Michigan, compassion, resilience, and good humor. So in honor of receiving this sash a little over 2.5 years ago, I'm wearing this as my stole today, which I think you'll agree fits very much with our theme. All right, so enough with the campfire talk. Time to settle in and get to our opening words. A poem and pledge by Vicki Struckman titled Scouting Our Hearts. I will do more than just care. I will help. I will do more than just belong. I will participate. I will do more than just believe. I will practice. I will be more than just fair. I will be kind. I will do more than just dream. I will work. I will do more than just teach. I will inspire. I will do more than just earn. I will enrich. And I will do more than just giving. I will serve. May these words that encapsulate the heart of being a Scout remind us of our Unitarian Universalist values that call us to help, participate, practice, be kind, work hard, inspire, enrich, and above all, serve. And so come, let's celebrate these rich traditions as we worship together this morning.
Now is the time in our service where we light the flaming chalice, a symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and, I dare say, the spark, the flame, and even for some, the raging campfire inside each of our hearts that calls us to serve one another and our world. And as we light the chalice, I'll share these words by Sherry Woodbury. Welcome all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one who is grateful for today. Know that in this place, you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, tradition holds us. Ancestors shine a light from the past. Here the young lift their bright faces and beckon us forward. Take my hand, and we can go together. As the sound of the bowl fills the sanctuary, look within to find a place of peace and quiet. Go there for a moment to remember the spirit of this place and open your hearts to joy.
So let's hear now our opening song. You'll notice this is an adapted version of the rather risque song by Tom Lehrer titled Be Prepared. The actual lyrics to this song are not Scout appropriate and are a bit dated, maybe even a little bit sexist and misogynistic. So we'll leave you to decide whether you'd like to look up the original words. Nevertheless, I'm pleased to welcome the UUCGT to perform their version of Be Prepared with new words written by Marianne.
Be prepared, that's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared, as through life you march along. Be prepared to help that lady cross the street. And if she stumbles and you help her to her feet, be prepared, that's the Boy Scouts solemn creed. Be prepared, and be clean in word and deed. Keep your eyes alert and ready to assist where there is need, and help out where you can. These important words to heed.
Don't be nervous. Don't be frightened.
Don't be scared. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared. As through life you march along. Be prepared to plant those seedlings in the woods. And make sure you use your scouting skills for good. Be prepared. That's a Boy Scout solemn creed. Be prepared. And be clean in word and deed. Be a cub, be an eagle, be a Girl Scout too. And look for ways to be real helpful. That's what you should do.
Don't be nervous. Don't be frightened.
Don't be scared. Be prepared.
Join me in singing the children's benediction.
In order for our congregation to be prepared to march along, we have to have the funds it takes to support our staff our programs, our outreach, our buildings, all of the pieces must fit together. Please remember that our collection baskets have two sides, one side for those in need and the other side for the congregation. Those of you online can send a check or use the app on your phone or connect with Vermo. You know what it is because you're probably younger than I am. Thank you for dipping deeply. Now we will hear one of our old favorite songs, and let's see what Barbara Young will do with this one. Kumbaya.
It's our practice as a community to come together each week and hold space for the joys and concerns that touch our lives, the milestones and moments of our lived experience. I'll be sharing just some space with you this morning. We don't have any formal joys or concerns to hold. And if you have a joy or concern that's a bit too heavy to share with us in our service, I invite you to reach out to myself, to a member of our congregational care team. Joni, would you rise? I think you have the sash on of congregational care. So Joni's a great person that you can reach out to be in contact with our congregational care team. Or you can simply just hold it on your heart as you are held in the love that abides here. None of us is ever meant to travel life's journey alone. So that being said, let's just open up some space to hold all the joys and concerns that are on our hearts. If you would join me in a spirit of prayer this morning as we pray 3 prayers from the Girl Scouts of the USA for 3 traditions: a prayer for Muslim Scouts, a prayer for Buddhist Scouts, and a general Scouts prayer. And so will you join me in finding your center as we pray together? In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, look with compassion on the whole human family. Remove from us the arrogance, divisions, and hatred that have infected our hearts. Break down the walls that separate us. Reunite us in bonds of love and guide us as we work through our struggle and confusion to accomplish your purposes on earth. that in good time all nations and races may jointly serve one another in justice, peace, and harmony. Amen. As a Buddhist scout, I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. May all beings be happy and joyous. May they live without fear. Understanding interdependence and compassion, I know that what I do now affects my happiness or unhappiness, and also that of others. May all existence, human and others, whether weak or strong, small or great, near or far, and throughout time, all attain perfect peace. Spirit of life, help us to be good scouts, ones whom the world can trust. Help us to respect our neighbor's rights and never to be unjust. Help us as scouts, as current scouts or scouts in spirit, to be proud of the uniforms we wear across our lives. Help us to be clean in thought, word, and deed. Help us to love all people of this world, and then to serve them too. Help our actions to count in everything we do. In spirit of life, help give us strength to carry on and do our part each day. Make us what we ought to be. Help us to live for others, O great troop leader of us all. Blessed be. If you would please join now as we sing our song of response, Spirit of Life.
The reading for today is called Boy Scouts, Unitarians Reach Parting in the Ways by Steve Clone. To listen to their self-descriptions, you would think scouting and the Unitarian Universalist Association would get along famously. A scout, according to Scout law, is faithful in religious duties and respects the beliefs of others. Unitarians, according to a denominational statement, seek to act as a moral force in the world and affirm the worth of all people. Indeed, the dual imperatives of ethical living and interfaith appreciation have, over the years, brought the two movements together. Unitarian churches have sponsored scout troops. Scouts who worshiped at Unitarian Universalist churches wore a denominational emblem on their uniforms. But in late 20th century America, wearing your religion on your sleeve or your breast pocket is never that simple. In recent years, the Unitarian Universalist Association, which prides itself on being open-minded, has been sharply critical of Scouting. In response, the loyal, friendly, and cheerful Scout executives effectively excommunicated the Unitarians this summer, declaring that the church could no longer sponsor the Scout Religion in Life badge, and that Scouts could no longer wear the Unitarian Universalist emblem on their uniforms. By the mid-1980s, that led the leadership of the Unitarian Universalist Association to distance itself from Scouting, citing the Scouts' ban on LGBTQ Scouts and leaders. Because each Unitarian congregation is autonomous, however, many worshipers continued to be involved in Scouting. In 1993, the UUA made its public disapproval of the policy on LGBTQ Scouts and leaders. Part of the official teaching of the Scouts were to receive in order to earn the Unitarian Universalist Religion in Life badge. Perhaps because Scouting has been under so many different attacks regarding their stance on those issues, it did not elicit an immediate reaction. But in May, Lawrence Ray Smith, chairman of the Boy Scouts of America Religious Relations Committee, sent the UUA a letter saying that until the UUA changed its teachings, youth may not be awarded a Unitarian Universalist religious emblem in Scouting or wear the emblem on their Scout uniform. A month later, John Behans, UUA president and former Scout, sent back a letter accusing Scouting not only of discrimination against LGBTQ Scouts and leaders, but discrimination against children and an entire religion. We will not stop distributing a Religion in Life manual that reflects our religious principles, Borens wrote. We will not stop providing Religion in Life awards and life and help emblems to Scouts and Scout leaders. Borens added that there are enough progressive voices in Scouting that he hopes someday the organization will change its policy toward LGBTQ Scouts and leaders and its insistence on an oath to God.
I first became a Scout in my freshman year of high school, proudly joining Troop 379 in the San Francisco Bay Area Council. Not too long after becoming a Unitarian Universalist in my teens, the decision to join Scouts felt easy after learning about its core values and principles, the values of respecting others and valuing difference, of conducting oneself with integrity and honesty, of learning how to think quickly on your feet and doing at least one good turn each day for the greater good. And most importantly, learning how to be prepared for life's winding path and whatever may come your way. To me, it seemed pretty clear and a pretty clear and simple choice. One could absolutely be a Unitarian Universalist and a Scout. How could either of these be at odds with one another? Well, while the values and principles might be in alignment, the organizations, as you've heard, haven't always seen eye to eye. I remember my surprise as I discovered a few things that didn't sit well with me at the time I joined Scouts. First, Scouting's requirement for affirming a belief in God or a higher power of some kind. My newly affirmed UU brain knew well that you can't get far with requiring somebody to subscribe or believe in something that they just don't, or at least it really won't be that genuine. Why, in order to do good, does someone have to believe in God? That's a question I think all of us ask. Additionally, I was uncomfortable with the organization's ban on LGBTQ+ scouts and on scout leaders. Make no mistake, I became a scout in the time before all of this changed. Even in the San Francisco Bay Area Council, you'd be surprised with the prejudice and ignorance that you might encounter within the program. I have many stories of this. For me, as a closeted gay youth, still coming to terms with my own identity, I knew that Scouts wasn't a place that I could actually bring my fullest self. And yet, simultaneously, I felt so deeply called to the ideas of serving others and creating a better world. This dissonance was one that I carried for a few years, even after I left Scouts, and I'm sure it wasn't without its own toll. Lastly, I not only fielded discomfort within Scouts, I recall the painful moment when my home UU congregation decided that, due to the conflict between Scouting and the UUA, that they could not and would not support me with my Eagle Scout project. I remember feeling stunned, though I also understood why. Needless to say, I actually lived this conflict in the reading that you heard earlier, and it wasn't an easy time. So that was Scouting's story back then, back when I became an Eagle Scout and then eventually aged out of the program. It felt like I had tried my best to bridge the divide between both Scouting and Unitarian Universalism, though it also felt like these tensions weren't going to go away anytime soon. You can imagine my surprise when, after moving to Traverse City and starting as your minister, I was invited back into Scouting to assist with a merit badge weekend. For those of you less familiar with Scouts, merit badges are those things that you earn when you learn a new skill or learn about something new. I was invited to be a guest for a newly developed Citizenship in Society merit badge as somebody who promotes diversity, equity, and inclusion in their work in the community. I got permission from Sherry Hintz to share this story with you. Sherry was actually the one who invited me to speak with the Scouts, and so I say thank you to Sherry for letting me tell this story. You see, I was nervous. I wasn't sure how I'd be received as the openly gay and out UU minister I am now, two clashing identities that I tried so hard to hold together. And I started wondering what it would be like being interviewed on my work in the community and my own journey inside and outside of Scouts. I remember walking into the room, dressed about as I am now, taking in everything from faces, voices, and expressions, trying to just get a sense of how everything was going. And you would not believe what I experienced when I walked through the door. I want you to picture this. To my left was a group of Scouts talking about LGBT history and the significance of the Stonewall uprisings for LGBTQ+ rights in our country. To my right, another group of Scouts chatted about the importance of respecting people's pronouns, how someone might identify differently from how they present or the gender they were assigned at birth. And across the room from me was another group talking about ways to make Scouting more inclusive for people of all sorts of identities and backgrounds, how with Scouts no longer being just boy Scouts, there still might be ways we could make Scouts of all genders feel more included. To be honest, I stopped in my tracks and had to blink a few times, maybe even check that I had my head on, right? How could this at all be the same program I left? Were they really talking about Stonewall and pronouns? Maybe things really have changed. And maybe I was welcome to be myself here. It was the coolest feeling leaving that merit badge weekend, feeling like things had finally changed so much for the better in ways that I never would have imagined. To be invited back and fully seen by these Scouts to share about myself, my work, and my story, it left me with such a special feeling. I share these stories with you to give you a sense of our theme today, whatever the journey, be prepared. Since the time of our reading that described these conflicts between the UUA and Scouts, a lot has changed. Not only is there no longer a ban on LGBTQ plus scouts and scout leaders, but now girls and scouts of all genders can earn the esteemed rank of Eagle Scout. To save this from being a sermon just about Boy Scouts, I might add that this complements the inclusive and welcoming programs that the Girl Scouts of America have offered for decades, with their esteemed Gold Award being their highest and most prestigious achievement. Scouting, with its emphasis on a respect for others and fostering inclusion in its programs, is just completely changing its culture. And more than just that, these two prior conflicting organizations, the UUA and the BSA, they've actually reached a new memorandum of understanding as of March 24th in 2016. An understanding that makes the case itself about just how much the UUA's values and Scouting's values really do overlap. This is truly a different time to be a Scout, a time that the teenager in me wishes I had the chance to experience. Nevertheless, one can now proudly be a Unitarian Universalist and an LGBTQ plus Scout, though with dropping the requirement of a belief in God, we might still have a little work to do. Though I want to draw your attention to the photo up here on the screen, showing my old uniform with some important pieces and patches. Not only can you see to the left those 21 merit badges that I earned as a Scout, I want you to particularly pay attention to the right side of the screen, and to first notice the pin with the purple fabric, and that features the words "Living Your Religion" on the top bar. That pin was the officially unofficial UU religious emblems that Scouts could earn through the UU Scouters organization, an entity that was completely separate and independent from the UUA. The purple and silver square knot patch that is right kind of above it to the right there, that was another award that you were given in honor of earning your religious emblem. But take a closer look at that middle square knot patch. I don't know if it's clear enough to see. The one that's got silver and purple colors there for religion and faith, tied also with the colors of the rainbow. That is another unofficial sign that is called the rainbow knot, or the protest knot, to be worn by Scouts who wanted to signal their disagreement with Scouting's ban on LGBTQ plus people. It also signifies that you were a person that someone could talk to, and that you wouldn't out them if they came out to you. With all of my time in Scouting, I've started seeing these two colored ropes of that square knot as a symbol of holding these two separate identities and strands. The purple and silver of my Unitarian Universalist faith, the faith that I carry so deeply within me that I can't understand myself any other way, and the colors of the rainbow, reflecting a commitment to be authentically myself, to no longer have to hide or cut off parts of myself in order to fit into spaces that just don't have room for me. You see, the square knot is a fitting metaphor for how these two pieces intersect. For those of you waiting to hear all about knots, the square knot is a simple and yet elegant design that does a few different things. Firstly, it's a knot that unites two different ropes or threads. It's a symbol of unity, of the coming together of two otherwise different things. Next, the square knot is known for its versatility. It's actually the first knot that you learn when you're in Scouts. It's flexible for a variety of different situations, from tying up bundles and packs to its use even as a first aid bandage, a rather simple one. But the square knot has another interesting quality. It actually doesn't slip. It doesn't let go. Even with it being rather easy to untie, the two ropes do not come undone, even under heavy strain and pressure. I can think of no other perfect metaphor than the square knot to describe what is most important to us and what is most central to who we are. Our identity, the pieces that make us who we are, and our core beliefs and values, what we know most deeply in ourselves to be true. How does it feel when these things are in tension? When the knot itself feels like it might be coming undone? When these strands push and pull against each other and yet can't possibly be separated? We as Unitarian Universalists have a faith tradition that encourages us to think for ourselves, to search for answers outside of the box and to find truth and meaning wherever we can find it. Scouting, too, is all about being prepared for the journey. Whether it's going on a weekend camping trip, double-checking that you've packed enough clean socks, the truth is, you never pack enough clean socks. Or whether it's taking a stand for what you know is right. When you undeniably know in your bones that something is unjust and just isn't right, and that you have to be the one that makes a difference. I don't know enough about the Girl Scouts, but for Scouts BSA, the 12 points of the Scout Law highlight a number of values that tells us clearly how we are to be in encounters with injustice. That a Scout is friendly, even to those who are different from ourselves. That a Scout is courteous, even to those we don't yet know. That a Scout is kind, treating others the way that we would want to be treated. That a Scout is brave to face difficult situations, even when we're afraid, even when others might disagree or disapprove. And yet, above all of these, a Scout is reverent. A Scout is faithful to what they know to be true, that we are to respect what others believe, even when these beliefs differ from our own. And that under no circumstance does any belief triumph over the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Yes, a Scout is reverent, even in being in opposition. Even in being the only voice in an organization, group, or institution that still has a long way to go for change. Even in spaces and situations where we have to be something other than our fullest self. It takes a lot to be reverent and faithful to the calls of who we are and what we hold most deeply true inside. I invite you to think about the square knots of your own life, where you find the intersections of both who you are and what you most deeply know to be true within yourself. Especially in situations with heavy burdens, in times when positive change just seems so unlikely a possibility, when we fear for our country and our world and the myriad of ways that we witness injustice and exclusion across our lives, where do you find the knot holding fast and perhaps even growing tighter? That's something I want to leave you with thinking about today. To close, I want to revisit our Time for All Ages story that Chelsea shared, a story about a girl named Hannah who learns a powerful and valuable lesson about being prepared for life. Sometimes in our lives, we need to be prepared to make our own adventure. An adventure that isn't yet drawn out for us or created. With all of the journeys we take, with all of life's unexpected twists and turns, we sometimes need to go our own way, even if we're the only ones that are traveling that path. So as you go forth from this place, don't be afraid to chart your own adventure, to take the path less traveled, to go the way of your deepest values and commitments. Above all, I invite you to hold fast to your center, to hold fast to that inner square knot that reminds you that who you are doesn't have to be at odds with making this world a better place. In fact, the two of those united and working together are a knot that truly can't come undone. And in the end, I invite you, as Scouting bids us, to be prepared for all that may come, for every obstacle and setback, for every joy and disappointment, maybe even the occasional odd or furry creature that we meet along the way. You already have your guide for this journey. Don't be afraid to follow its path. May it be so, and amen. Let's sink into a stillness now as we take in the spirit of this hour. Now, would you please rise in body or in spirit as we join in singing some of our famous campfire songs, some famous campfire songs together. We'll have the UUCers lead us in singing, so get on up out of your seats if you're willing, and we'll sing along together.
Our first number that we hope you know all the words to because they're not going to appear up there. She'll be coming round the mountain. And if anybody knows the movements, if you'd step up here and you could lead us. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Driving? She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses. She'll be driving 6 white horses when she comes. Whoa, back! And we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Howdy! And we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Howdy! Oh, we'll all go out to meet her. Yes, we'll all go out to meet her. Yes, we'll all go out to meet her when she comes. Howdy! Very nice. Now these words should come up here. This land is your land, but you may recall it's just a little different words because it's about Michigan. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the Motor City to Mackinac Island. From the Pine Tree Forest to the Great Lakes waters. Michigan was made for you and me. As I was driving that ribbon of highway, I saw orange
have your heart in. I hear the robin sweetly singing. Michigan was made for you and me. Give it your heart now. This land is your land. This land is my land. From Motor City to the Mackinac Islands, from the pine tree forest to the Great Lakes waters. Michigan was made for you and me. Little turnaround now. Michigan was made with a church ending for you and me.
You sound great, and we hope that you'll join us when we have a campfire this summer. It will be very fun, lots of music and dancing, right? Changes abound around us, within us, between us, in our communities, our neighborhoods, our beloved faith communities. Changes abound. May we each find the balance point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, between the known and the unknown, between the familiar and the, perhaps, bold and risky possibilities that may be there waiting. Hold this flame in your heart all week and bring it with you next time.
I just have a couple of quick and short announcements, and we'll send you on your way. I have a note about Emily Mitchell being here after the service in the sanctuary today. Emily, you're right there. So Emily is here that any of you that want to engage in any vision writing, the deadline is fast approaching, and so this is a great opportunity. Emily is right here if you want to do any of your visioning work right here and now after the service. And so we really, really encourage you. We really want to collect as many visions as possible from across the congregation. So please see Emily if that appeals to you as something that you can still get in. There's still a little bit of time. And also, starting next Sunday, we're going to have a new listening circle starting up that's called Afterthoughts. It'll be on the third Sunday of each month from 12 to 1 p.m. in the sanctuary. And this will be a chance to go deeper into the Soul Matters monthly theme. For those of you who are a little more introverted or even a little more introspective, who would rather be in a smaller group of friends rather than all of the clamor of coffee hour, this is maybe something that you ought to think about doing. And check out and think about the questions that will be appearing in the Soul Matters section of our flash. These are questions that are drawn from the Soul Matters small group packet that you can kind of contemplate that relate to our theme. So if that interests you, join us for our first Afterthoughts next Sunday. And now I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to join hands or remember the famous gesture, which is, either I'm online and can't touch any of you or, please do not touch me. We'll take a moment to find a hand or find a strand. In the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, and then in the spirit of scouting and the faith within us that calls us to serve, may we be made ready to serve one another and to create the world we so desperately dream of. May it be so, amen. Pass a little squeeze if that feels good, or an air five. And happy Sunday. Good to be with you.